Good morning, Keller High School families. Thank you for joining us this morning for Coffee Chat. We're excited to have you with us this morning and have some great pieces of information to share with you today. So I hope you survived the crazy winter weather that we had last week and that you didn't have any damage or too much if you did. I know it was crazy, and I'm just so grateful for our Keller family and our community. The outpouring of assistance that we saw within our community was so heartwarming to see. Keller truly is a special place to be. We are just 2 short weeks away from spring break and the end of third quarter. The year is certainly flying by, and I know many of you are waiting patiently for some key information regarding spring events, such as banquets, prom, and things like that. We are still in conversations with district leadership, exploring all options while keeping in mind the current guidelines that CDC and local health officials have in place for larger gatherings. But I do hope that we'll have some more information to share with you in the next week or so. Here on the campus, life is really busy. We're moving into spring, which brings a lot of new athletic events and teams playing and things like that. And then also it's testing season for us. So there's a lot going on. Some of our sports teams are just getting started, like track, baseball, and softball, and golf and tennis. They're just getting started with their spring seasons, and then others are just wrapped up or are in the middle of playoffs. So including our swim team that is at down in San Antonio today, they're competing at state, and we're certainly proud of all of our athletes and just excited for the opportunities that they have to compete. In fine arts, our band and choirs are preparing for local contests in all states. Theater has their one-act play that is well underway, and they actually have performances this weekend and next. So if you have a few minutes to come by and check it out, you do need to get tickets in advance. Choir also has a concert out on the plaza on Monday night. So certainly check out our website for more information about those events if you want to come out and enjoy one of them. In academics and the academic areas, we have kids competing in all kinds of things, including UIL, DECA, HOSA, BPA, and debate. A lot of those events have taken place virtually this year, and I'm so proud of all of our sponsors and how they've really stepped up and supported students so that our not only in-person students can compete, but remote as well, and that they have all those same opportunities. So just grateful that even in the midst of a pandemic and a crazy year and with lots of challenges, our students have those opportunities to learn inside and outside of the classroom. Our COVID cases continue to remain lower, especially as compared to right when we came back from winter break. So I'm certainly grateful for that. As of yesterday morning, while we've had a few cases this week, we have not quarantined any students. So that's certainly been a positive there. So we really appreciate the continued vigilance of our staff and our students, and certainly the support of our families as well as we continue to follow those protocols. The support that we continue to feel from our families and our community is just incredible, and we truly appreciate you. I do want to share a few key dates. You should see them there on your screen now, but we've got some things coming up next week, and then an asynchronous day coming up here at the end, and then spring break and our next parent coffee chat. So keep those in mind as you plan throughout this month of March, which is going to be here next week. So just right around the corner. It's just crazy how quickly the days are going by. So okay, enough of me talking. We do have some folks here that will be sharing some information with you today. Dr. Colvin, our college and career counselor, will get us started, and then the others will introduce themselves as we go through the presentation. So thank you again for joining us. I really appreciate it. And now I'll turn it over to Dr. Colvin.
Thank you, Ms. Simmons. My name is Randy Colvin, college and career counselor, and my office is in the library, and I meet with students out in the library, and then also for our remote students and their parents, I meet on Zoom. I'll just start with a shameless plug, and that is my Twitter handle there. If you are a parent and you happen to be on Twitter, which not all parents are, please follow me on Twitter at Keller_go. I'm just going to mention a few things briefly today about preparing for college. First, about the SAT that we have coming up, and of course, students can register to take future SATs by going on collegeboard.org. And mainly, what I would say is just that it's a really good investment of time to prepare for the SAT, and you know, it can increase your chance of college admissions and increase your potential for a merit scholarship. And preparation really can improve scores. One website that we love to promote in the counseling office, because it is free and we do believe that it really does work, is from College Board. Well, it's a partnership between College Board and Khan Academy. And you can find the site by just Googling College Board Khan Academy, and you have your student log into their College Board account, and they will use your students' PSAT or prior SAT scores to kind of tailor the test prep to your student in the ways that would best help them. And in the counseling office, we have kind of a rule of thumb that we like to say, and that is about 40 hours of Khan Academy prep can increase your student score by about 100 points. So it's a really good investment of time. Also, you know, if your student is in 9th through 11th grade, or, you know, that's a great time to explore colleges. And obviously, some colleges have stopped doing in-person campus visits, but many are still doing these in a smaller capacity. And then the ones that aren't allowing campus visits are offering virtual visits on Zoom or virtual tours. So definitely, it's a great time in 9th through 11th grade to take advantage of those opportunities and explore colleges and start building that list of different colleges. Also, back to College Board, they have a great website called Big Future for exploring colleges and building college lists. And speaking of College Board, they also are hosting a virtual event called Big Future Days on the evening of March 30th. And that is an opportunity to meet with college representatives from many different colleges. And then, you know, another thing to be preparing for college is looking for these early scholarship opportunities. I just want to mention two of these. First is a website that I really love. It's called raise.me. And right now we have about 300 of our students on the site. And I'm hoping we can get that number way up. And when I logged into the site about an hour ago, I saw that these students had collectively earned $3.6 million on that site. So let me clarify that. The only catch is that they can use those only at specific colleges. So students can find colleges of interest and earn scholarships at those particular colleges. And then the second opportunity that I just will briefly mention is called College Board Opportunity Scholarships. And if you want to find that, just Google College Board Opportunity Scholarships, and it's an ideal program for juniors and even seniors in the fall of their senior year. And top winners can earn up to $40,000 from College Board, which is great. And recently, Central High School did have a student win some money through that program. So it's a great program. And finally, I would just say, I can meet with and work with students from any grade level. And if your student might benefit from a meeting with me, please have them fill out my meeting request form on the Keller High Counselor's website. And I will set up a meeting with them to help them think through their plans for college. So to do that, just click on the link in the Keller High College and Career Center on part of the website and request a meeting with me. And now I'm going to turn it over to our lead counselor, Mr. Upton.
Thanks, Dr. Kaufman. Great information, and all that stuff is really, really helpful for our students as they prepare to leave Keller High School and join the ranks of our college and career and military folks. So my name is Wes Upton. I'm the lead counselor here, and I want to talk briefly about GPA, specifically about an event coming up here on March 9th. Our students recently had their first semester completed, and the beginning of February, we had their transcripts finalized and made viewable in Aries, and this should have included your students' grades and GPA information for your easy access so that you can see that and review that. We have the GPA policy posted on our KHS counseling website. It's also on the Keller ISD board policy, and the title is EIC local if anyone wants to look it up specifically to reference it there. But we have it linked on the counselor webpage if that's an easier place to find it. In addition to that, as I mentioned to begin with, the district Keller ISD leadership will host a virtual parent meeting for all of our families, for high school families, regarding our GPA policy, and that's going to be at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, March 9th. So we hope that our families will join that session, have a chance to listen to our district leadership talk about the policy and answer any questions that may come up. A link is supposed to be sent out very soon so that you can access that event. And in addition to that, information went out to all of our parents. It came out on February 5th at about 3 o'clock. It may have been slightly after 3 o'clock if you're looking in your inbox to try to find this message. But the link went out at that time to submit questions that you may have for the district so that whenever they present that evening, they'll be able to answer your questions very thoroughly at that point. So make sure if you have any questions about the GPA policy or any questions about GPA in general, that you take the time to submit those questions ahead of time so that our district leadership has a chance to make sure that they answer any questions that you may have. So just make sure we attend that event. And if you have questions ahead of time that you want to submit, that you get those in so that we can make sure we address all of your questions that you may have for that time. As far as registration, our counselors have been working with your students for the last several weeks on registration. We've worked with our Keller Middle and Indian Springs students coming into 9th grade. We've met with our sophomore students and our junior students, and next week we'll finish up with our freshman students. If by chance your student has not had a chance to meet one-on-one with their counselor for any reason, they were absent, they missed their scheduled appointment, whatever it may be, the counselors will have open Zooms tomorrow all day. And we've sent an email to all of the student emails and all the parent emails yesterday for sophomore and junior parents to be able to do a makeup session while we have an asynchronous day. Our students can jump on and meet with their counselors and have a chance to discuss anything. If you have a freshman student, don't worry, we're going into freshman classes virtually next week and we'll catch all of those students next week. And at that point, we will wrap up our registration. That means that your students have had a chance to make a choice, but as we move forward, if there's anything that changes after you guys have a discussion or any information changes that maybe impacts how you've selected your courses, we do have a thing called EduThings that your students have a tile in their K-Cloud that they can access, and you guys can review their course selection there. So that's where that information is housed. So students can look there. Students and families can make requests for changes there. And we'll also be posting, once we finish our class registration, we'll be posting a Google form for students and parents to be able to make any choices or changes in their course selection so that we can update that and have that ready. Students and families can make changes to their choices up through the end of March. So we will have approximately a full month from when we finish our registration conversations for students and families to have any discussions that they need to and be able to adjust any courses that they may have. Another question that comes up very often during this time is, what's the difference really between pre-AP and non-pre-AP classes? And overall, the best way I can describe this is the goal of a pre-AP class is to be able to be ready to take the level of an AP or a college level class after you finish that class. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis for our students? Typically what students and teachers will describe is you'll see a class in a pre-AP class going into a little more depth. You'll see them going into a few more details, expecting a little bit more work being done outside of the classroom, more independent work, more homework, those types of things than you might find in a non-pre-AP or a regular on-level class. But again, the main goal is that a pre-AP class is setting a student up to be successful in the next level, which will be the college level or AP level class. The next question that we've received has to do with NJHS versus NHS. Students at high school can join NHS. NJHS is a junior high level version of that organization. Students at Keller High will be eligible to apply for NHS in their sophomore year, typically giving them the opportunity to be a part of that great organization during their junior and senior year. So the big difference there is the NJHS is for middle school students and NHS is for our high school students. And then the final topic that I'll cover today is a couple of new courses that we have potential for offering next year, which is College Prep Math and College Prep English. The courses are available for students to really help ensure that our students have the foundation to be successful when they step into the college campus. So one test that students need to pass in order to be able to enroll in a freshman level English or math class is a TSI. And our students oftentimes some of our students may have a little bit of a struggle passing that test to show that they're ready for that college level of rigor. And so we're going to offer a class called College Prep Math and College Prep English for some of those students so that they can ensure that their foundation is very, very strong. And this is going to be a great way to just brush up and make sure that all of our students that may need just a little extra support and to make sure that they're ready to enter college, ready to be successful in those first year college level courses. So that's all I've gotten with this. I'm going to hand it off to Ms. Ebner, our intervention counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Upton. So Ms. Simmons just asked if I could share a little bit information about myself and about intervention services. So intervention services are an extension of the counseling program. I work with all the campus counselors in unison, and really the goal of intervention services is to provide a more in-depth service to identified students who are at risk, mostly because of social emotional needs. Typically, the referrals to intervention come through the campus counselor, and the campus counselor and I continue to work with the student together in order to provide the support to help them continue to be successful here at school. And just a little bit about me, I am a licensed professional counselor supervisor. I did go to UNT, and this is my second year here at Keller High School. And then with that, I wanted to just take a moment to talk about depression and signs of depression, because we are definitely seeing an increase in depression and anxiety, I think generally not just with adolescents, but with our whole population, just with the ongoing stressors that we're constantly dealing with right now. So I just want to take a moment to kind of go through some of the signs and symptoms, just so you can be aware of those and be able to assess whether or not you have concerns about your particular child. So some of the signs and symptoms are physical complaints. This includes things like stomach aches or headaches or just vague body complaints. If you see unusual sadness or irritability, and that's beyond what's normal. So we all know that all teens do experience that, but this is when you notice that it's persisting and it seems unusual. It's going on for a longer period of time. Also social withdrawal. We know that with isolation, there has been more social withdrawal that's naturally happened. But if you notice that your student is staying withdrawn and really not reaching out to peers or to you, or even if their whole social circle has changed pretty dramatically, that can also be a sign. Academic decline. This is again like I think a lot of students have struggled with our new format and all the changes that have happened. So there has been some normal decline for some students, but this would be if you've seen like a really striking decline that's really unusual for them and a really low motivation or drive. Substance use, and we all know that experimentation is common and normal for teens. But the concern is that if we are seeing a higher substance use problem with teens, and it seems as if they're using it not as experimentation, but more like self-medication. And then the last thing to look for is if you notice that they're really experiencing a lot of self-criticism. So again, some self-criticism is common and it's very normal, but if you notice that they're kind of stuck in this state of negativity, feeling like they're not good at anything, or they're so stupid, they're never going to graduate, that kind of thinking that's persistent is where we become concerned. And really all of these things we all struggle with at different times, but when it becomes concern for true depression is if you see that these symptoms are persisting for longer than 2 weeks, and that you see usually about 4 to 5 areas that are affected. So that's when you would want to seek out some extra support or help. And a great resource that I've included on here, if you're looking for an outside resource, is just to go to psychologytoday.com. You can actually search for what kind of provider you want. You can put in your insurance benefits, even gender, if you have a specific gender you want your child to work with, and search that way. And I'm going to hand it over now to Ms. Holt.
Thank you, Ms. Ebner. All right, so I'm going to talk to y'all about testing. Hopefully y'all have been getting my many emails with updates and all that. But just to go over some upcoming ones for this spring, we have quite a bit. The first one is next week. It'll be our SAT on March 3rd. That's a Wednesday. This is for all of our juniors. It's free for them and they're automatically registered. So there was no sign up process or anything like that. And of course, in-person and remote students are welcome to participate. For all of our non-testers, so freshmen, sophomores, and seniors, this will be an asynchronous day. So they'll get assignments or activities from their teachers. Either they'll hand it to them in class before that day or email or post on their Google Classroom or Canvas, and then they'll be marked present automatically. But if the student's not working on that work, then they might be marked absent. So that's kind of the expectation for those kids. There might be some optional opportunities as well, like Zooms that students can participate in if possible. For our juniors coming to test, they will need a valid ID and they'll need number 2 pencils, no mechanical pencils, and then an approved calculator, as well as a snack and lunch for that day. I did email home a letter that has links to College Board site where you can look at their approved calculator lists and approved IDs and all that. But if you need that information, let me know and I can surely get that to you. And then we do estimate that testing will be finished around 2:15 that day. So you can plan to pick your student up at that time, or they're welcome to drive home. And then if you have a student that needs to ride the bus, we'll have buses available at 4 o'clock. So those students are welcome to remain in the commons up until that time. Next slide, please. And then in May, we also have our AP exams. All of our exams will be in person during the first 2 weeks of May. There is a couple exams on that Monday, the 17th as well. Again, these are all done in person, typically in our large gym, so we'll be able to space out. There will be an additional window during June at those dates listed. If we do have any students that are required to quarantine during the original administration. Those exams are digital and they're done at home. But if there's a specific exam that mandates it's done in person, such as a Chinese language exam, then we'll work with those students individually to come take those on campus. Next slide, thank you. And then for STAR testing, I did want to go over some clarification because I know there's been a little bit confusion about, do remote students come take them or do they not? So we in high school, these are called our end of course exams, or you'll hear us use the term EOCs a lot. All of our EOCs, there's 5 of them, are still required as of this point for graduation. Last year, any student that was in a class tied to an EOC was exempt from it if they passed that class. So they do not have to take that. However, this year that determination has not been made. So as of right now, all students have to come on campus to participate in those STAR exams. All students are still required to pass those EOCs for graduation. Because of that, we know some remote students have hesitations on coming to campus. Those days are going to be asynchronous. So all of our non-testers will stay home on those days, and that'll allow us to spread the students out and have as low of a number of students in classrooms as possible. Next year, the state does plan to transition to have all EOCs done online, or all STAR testing online. So this year, to kind of get our students ready for that, we are going to be doing the biology and US history exams online. The only exception to that would be is if your student has a 504 plan or an IEP that designates otherwise. But that being said, students, if they have a Keller ISD issued Chromebook, we're asking them to bring those in, and they will launch the app and take their test from their Chromebook. And we will have extras, so if they forget it or they don't have a Keller ISD Chromebook, we will make sure to have extras to provide those for you guys. So they don't need to bring in a personal laptop at all. Either they have their Keller ISD Chromebook or we will give them one on the testing day. I did send out a letter with all this information that has links and screenshots where you guys can get on and look at all the features that the online exams have. There's quite a bit of tools available. I'll also be recording a video kind of walking through that teachers will be sharing out in class as well. That email should have gone to you Wednesday morning. So again, if you didn't receive that, just let me know and I can send it to you again. And then lastly, below those are the dates for the EOCs, and then next to them in parentheses are the grade levels that typically take those exams. We do have some students who might be required to take, for example, a sophomore might be taking a freshman exam, but that's on an individual basis, and I will let those students know. Otherwise, whatever grade you're in is what grade will take that course if you're sitting in that course currently. But again, I'm over all of testing. And I check my email pretty frequently. So if you have any questions, just please don't hesitate to reach out and I will gladly get you some answers. And over to you, Ms. Simmons.
Great, thank you so much, Ms. Holt. I know we have shared a lot of information with you today. I hope the information is helpful. Please know all of these folks on the chat today are here to help and support you in any way that we can, from counseling to intervention to college and career and next steps after high school for your student, and then more. So if there's anything that we can do or any questions or concerns that you might have, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to help and support in any way that we can. So I hope you have a great day and a wonderful weekend. Thanks again for all you do to support the Keller High family. We truly appreciate each of you. Have a great day.